Hello everyone. So today we are going to continue the quantum mechanical model outcome and the application of quantum numbers and how to use these quantum numbers in order to assigning the position or allocation of electrons in an atom. So we are doing electronic configurations. Electronic configuration means assigning the positions or allocating. Here we are allocating the electrons within the atom in various orbitals. Okay, so there are certain rules to it which needs to be followed while allocating an electron its orbital. So these rules are basically, the first one is Aufbau, or basically these are principles. Aufbau's rule or Aufbau's principle. This is basically determining the energy order of atomic orbitals. Since the feature of quantum mechanical model is that for a multi-electron system, a multi-electron atom, the electrons will tend to occupy those orbitals first which have a lower energy, since low energy is associated with high stability. So lower energy orbitals are filled first, followed by the higher energy orbitals. So energy of order of these orbitals depends on their n plus L value, and this n is principal quantum number and this L is azimuthal or orbital quantum number. For example, if we are comparing 1s and 2s orbitals, so 1 represents n is 1 and s represents that L is 0. So n plus L is 1. In this case n is 2 and s means L is 0. Here n plus L is 2. So 1s energy is less than 2s energy. So if energy is low, then it is filled first or prior to 2s orbitals. Okay, so let us see and classify all the orbitals in order of their energy values. So this is only half of the law. If this doesn't come, then the second step is to determine the low n value. So let us see. For different values of n, the possible values of L. For n1, possible value of L is 0 to n minus 1. So the possible value is 0. Here n plus L value is coming out to be 1. For n is equals to 2, the possible values are 0 and 1. Right? So this is represented as 1s orbital, this is represented as 2s orbital. N plus L value is 2. In this case, n plus L value is 3. And this is represented by 2p orbital. Next, for n3, we have 0, 1 and 2, 3 possible values of L. Like I said before, for each shell there are equal number of subshells. So number of subshells will always be equals to the shell we are talking about. So third shell will have 3 number of subshells. Fourth shell will have 4 number of subshells. So 3 plus 0 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is 3s orbital. This is 3p orbital. This is 3d orbital. Similarly, let us see 4. We'll have 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 4 plus 0, 4 plus 1, 4 plus 2, 4 plus 3. This is represented as 4s, 4p, 4d, and next alphabet is 4f. Now let us see the energy orders. So 1 will have the lowest energy. Second is 2s. Among 2s and 2p, 2 is smaller number. So 2s will come. And then 2p is filled. Then suppose I am writing in term of this. Then there are two values for n plus l to be 3. It can be 2p, it can be 3s. So here the second law will come. First point was lowest n plus l value. Since the n plus l is same, next we'll move to the n values. Since 2p has a smaller n values compared to 3s, so this will be filled first and then 3s will come. So I am writing 3s here. Okay, then the next number is 4, which is higher than 3. So this 4 and this 4, there are two 4s present in it. These two 4. So the n plus l value is same for 3p and 4s. But since 3p has a smaller n value, this will be filled first. I am writing 3p. And then the next, as I saw, is 4s. Now coming to number 5. 5 is here, 5 is here. So these two values are same. So we will consider n values 3d and 4p. Since 3d has smaller n value, this will be filled first. So this is 3d and then 4p. Likewise, next number is 6. So this 6 is there and then there is 6 where 5p is also present and 5p is also present. So 5 is also present in 5s. So like this, there is a construction which represents the energy orders. So here it is like if you are moving basically zigzag. Then 5s and last one will be 5p and in between it will come a 4d or byte. Okay, and the next is going to be 6s. The edges are going to be the same n number, same shell. So every line is basically a shell. The first shell, the second shell, the third shell, the fourth shell, the fifth shell and the sixth shell. So sixth shell will have 5d as well as 4f because 5d also has 5 plus spd. D is 2 which is 7. 4f is 4 plus 3 which is 7. 6p is also 7. So out of all the 7 n plus l values, the 5d, 4f, this will be 4f first. And 6p. So this is how this is filled. So you can always remember in terms of triangle also and just move one point after the other. So this is like a triangle, energy triangle you can say, where the starting and end is always S and P, and this is first, then 2s, then 2p, then 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s, 4f, 5d, 6p. Next is going to be 7s. The edge is going to be 7p. And here we'll have 5f and 6d in between. So this completes my energy triangle. and each of these numbers basically represents the shell. So this is how the orbitals are filled. Suppose I have 10 electrons and each orbital can have maximum of 2 electrons. So let us see how many electrons can be filled and how the electronic configurations move. The next rule was given by Hund's and it is also called Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. And this states that for degenerate orbitals, so these are the orbitals which have same energy. When the energy is same for orbitals, then each orbital will occupy one electron first, followed by pairing of electron. So suppose we are talking for L is equals to 1. So we have 3 orbitals, Px, Py and Pz. This is also represented by ml values, which is -1, 0 and +1. So if this is an orbital, so each one will have one electron first. So 3 electrons will fill like this, and then the pairing will occur and the next 4th electron will go in this. So I'll explain you this upspin and downspin in the next rule, but Hund's rule says that each degenerate orbital is singly occupied before it starts pairing up. So it has basically 2 rules. One rule is single occupancy of electron in degenerate or similar energy, same energy orbitals. Second is the spin of electron will be same. So all will be up or all will be down. So same spin is present and singly occupied first. The third one is Pauli's exclusion principle. This says that no 2 electrons in an atom can have same set of all 4 quantum numbers. This means that every electron has a set of quantum number, all 4. So no 2 electron can have a same address basically, because these quantum numbers are signifying the address of an electron. No 2 electrons can have the same address. So they are separately present within an atom. That's why they have different quantum numbers. So at least one quantum number is going to be different. So let us see how we apply these rules in determining the electronic configurations as a whole. So in case of hydrogen, we have 1 electron. Here I am writing the atomic number Z. So 1 electron will give to the lowest energy, which is 1 s orbital. And since each orbital can have maximum of 2 electron, I am representing this as superscript 1. So this is my electronic representation. For helium, the atomic number is 2. So it means it has 2 electrons in the neutral atom. So 1 electron will go to S and second will also go to S. So here I can do a boxy representation. Upspin. So second electron will come here and it will always have the downspin. So this electron will have N value of 1, L value of 0, Ml value of 0. So this is common for both the electrons. But the difference comes for the Ms value. Here also this electron has the same, these 3 quantum numbers are same. The fourth quantum number is different. So here it is obeying the Pauli's exclusion principle. That is why it is represented as up spin and down spin. So no two electrons can have all set of four quantum numbers, means at least one has to be different. Similarly, let us see lithium. So it is atomic number 3. So since 1s is completely filled with 2 electrons, maximum occupancy can be 2 electrons. So second is 2s. So the third electron will go to the 2s orbital. The representation will be like this. This is 1s, this is 2s. 1s completely filled, 2s singly occupied. Beryllium 4 will have 1s2, 2s, 2 because orbital can have 2 electrons. So this is represented by the second spin is going to be inverse of it, again according to Pauli's exclusion principle. So for these two electrons, the NL, ML values are same, but MS value is different. Boron is going to be 5. Since 2 electrons are maximum that can be occupied, so next will go to 2p. So these series is coming from the off bow. Fifth electron 1. So this is represented by, so this is 1s, this is 2s, and then in p there are 3 orientations possible, which is -1, 0 and +1 ml values, right? So these are called degenerate orbitals. Here the Hund's rule will come into action. So 1 electron will be occupied here. Secondly, if you are talking about, suppose I am taking an example of nitrogen. So nitrogen has an atomic number of 7. So in this case, it is going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p. This 4 is here, so 3 electrons are left. Now I have degenerate orbitals. I have to fill 3 electrons. So each one will be singly occupied. First thing. Second point was all the spin will be up. So if you write like this, one is up, one is down, other is up, this is not correct. This is not following the Hund's rule. All have to be up or all have to be down spin. This is what the Hund's rules say. So these degenerated orbitals are singly occupied with the same spin. Okay, so likewise you can represent the electronic configurations of different atoms, and by increasing or changing the orbitals and singly occupied and using the 3 laws, which is Aufbau's rule, Hund's rule and Pauli's rule, you can fill up these orbitals. Each orbital will have 2 electrons, and this is how it can be done. Now another concept came of half filled and fully filled orbitals and their stability. This means whenever an orbital is half filled means if the occupancy or the maximum occupancy of an orbital, suppose if we are talking about in case of nitrogen, the maximum electrons that can be present in 2p orbital is 6 electrons, but right now it is having 3 electrons, which is half of its maximum occupancy. So this is called half filled orbital, when the number of electrons is half of maximum possible or maximum occupancy. So p orbital, it is 3 electron, or d orbital you can say these are 5 electrons. So in this case the stability is high as compared to other configurations. This is called stability due to half-filled orbitals, and there are two reasons to it. The first reason is symmetry, and second reason is the exchange energy. Now, symmetry in terms of distribution of electron around nucleus. So, since we are talking about p orbital, which is a directional orbital, and suppose if we are talking about px orbital, there is one electron. Along y direction also there is second electron. Along z direction there is third electron, because each of these represents three directions around the nucleus. So charge is basically symmetrically distributed around the nucleus. So nucleus will not be, or the atomic structure as a whole is not distorted, because there is a symmetrical charge distribution of electron along the three directions. So that is giving symmetry to the structure of atom as a whole. Okay. So that symmetry is giving it stability, or symmetry is giving symmetrical charge distribution, you can say. Exchange energy. Exchange energy is a kind of additional energy which is being established as a stability factor. Like in case of half-filled orbitals, these electrons present in 2p, suppose in this, in 2x and along 2py and 2px. So these electrons present over here can be exchanged through tunneling effect. This exchange gives them an extra stability in the form of release of heat or lowering the energy of the atomic orbital, and that energy released is called an exchange energy. So this is basically same spins in different orbitals. Same spin in different orbitals are exchanging their positions or interchanging or swapping. So this particular electron can swap with two more. It can go to y and it can go to z. So it has two exchange energies with it. Similar applies to py and pz orbitals, right? So this exchange energy, the possible orbitals or possible spaces where this electron can tunnel, gives me an amount of exchange energy, and more is the possibility, higher will be the stability. Similar case or similar points are associated with fully filled orbitals. For example, we are talking about neon. So neon is atomic number 10 and has an electronic configuration, 2 electrons in 1s, 2 in 2p, 2s, okay, this is 10 electrons in neon. So here again the electrons are along x, along y and say along z. So you can see there is a symmetrical distribution of the charge. Okay, suppose we don't have symmetrical distribution. Suppose we have some configuration like this where there are only 2 electrons in 2p orbital. In that case, the electron density is more along 2 axis, and this is going to be no electron density or less electron density, since electron tunneling is less. So in this case, the electron distribution is not symmetrical, whereas in case of half filled or fully filled, these electron cloud is symmetrically distributed around the nucleus, which gives us more symmetry and lower energy. Similarly, exchange energy. So for this electron, particularly this spin, can exchange to 2 more, and this lower one will also be able to exchange with 2 more. So fully filled be also stabilized by exchange energy, Whereas in this case, say this can exchange only one place. So this concept of half filled and fully filled stable configurations is used to explain certain configurations. For example, taking Z is equals to 24 atomic number. This is for the element chromium, Cr. So here the electronic configurations will follow all the three rules, and it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. This is how it should be. But in case of chromium, this 1s electron shifts to the 3d orbital, and this whole configuration transforms to 4s1 and 3d5. And this transformation is feasible because of the higher stability of half-filled configurations. So the explanation comes, since these configurations are more stable due to symmetry and exchange energy, this is more preferred. That's why chromium has this kind of exceptional kind of electronic configurations with it. Similarly, for Z is equals to 29 atomic number, which is for copper, the electronic configuration should be 4s2, 3d9. But again, s electron is moving this side to 3d orbital and giving us 4s1, 3d, this should be 9, 3d10. So it means this has a fully filled stability, fully filled atomic orbitals, and that's why it is more stable as compared to the previous one. So this is how this concept is used to explain such configurations, and not just these configurations, but this concept is also used while explaining some of the chemical properties of the elements, like why ionization energy of nitrogen is higher as compared to oxygen, and so on and so forth. This concept we will apply more and see its effect in the next unit, where we will see the periodicity in elements. So far we have seen, then in case of quantum mechanical model, the electron motion has been explained through waves. So basically nucleus is over here and electrons are moving in wave pattern. Whatever wave has been, equation has been defined to explain the motion of electrons. So these are not restricted to a definite orbit or circular paths, but it is moving and behaving like a wave and moving in certain spaces around the nucleus. So it is a three-dimensional pool or cloud of electron in which electron has a probability to stay. Okay. So this is how quantum mechanical model explains the structures of an atom and its stability while explaining the interactions between nucleus and electron. So thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can write in the comment section. Do subscribe to learn more about the upcoming topics, and do attempt the questions which are after this lecture. Thank you.